much, and thank you again for joining today. I'm excited to do a further walkthrough here. So without further ado, you should all be able to see my screen. So what you're seeing now is the RepSpark community. So when a buyer logs into the RepSpark area, they would be able to find your brand and request access to your brand. So they can find your brand by typing in your brand specifically, or by typing in and going by different filtering. They can filter by, if they want a specific vertical, if they're looking for, the newest fashion brands or the newest golf brands, etc. They could also go by gender, category, subcategory, etc. So this is kind of from a buyer view where they would be starting the process of accessing your site. And that doesn't matter whether you are Accelerate or connected to an ERP system, etc. So as you can see here, I have looked for golf and I can see all of my different golf brands that I have access to. And then as a buyer, they would either click access now. So if they've already been given access, they can log in that way. Or if not, this little access now would say request access, and the brand can then request access to you. It's a really great way to get new leads who potentially aren't buyers yet in your system. And you can set them up to be able to view your catalog or start shopping your site. Or maybe they're just leads and you want to get that lead. They've never purchased from you before. Again, you have the control of who's going to be accessing your site and seeing all your products and shopping your site. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hop in our demo, just so you guys could see kind of what that would look like. So hopping into now the RepSpark demo, what you would be able to set up here is a branded homepage. So this homepage could be designed for the newest features and functionalities that you have, the newest products that you have. This branded homepage could be different for the show. It could be different for your wholesale buyers and your sales team, etc. So you could set this up. This is completely managed by you and how you want your site to look to those users that you give access to your site to. With regards to the PGA Connects platform, you can also post the branded homepage site here into your virtual booth as well. So it's a really great way to market and share your brand to new buyers or existing buyers. From there, I'm just going to go across the top. There's a product section. This is where you can put all of your products. You would upload your products if you're using Excel or Shopify. If you didn't upload your products and you are connected into some order source or product source, we would be able to integrate and pull those products in automatically. Then you have your catalogs and assortments. So here is where you have all the catalogs or assets you've made. Now, whether that be to use at a show, if you're going to be on site, this is where a buyer can access your digital catalogs and also where you can share out your digital catalogs. You can do the same with assortments. So we have seen brands where they may not necessarily want to completely create a digital catalog, but they want to select products and put them in a product assortment that then a buyer could export in Excel, or this assortment could be shared with the buyer without necessarily doing the whole digital catalogs. Then you have an area on the top for My Orders, and this is where your buyers, as well as your sales team, as well as yourself, can be accessing your orders as they go through the different areas of the site. If you are connected to an ERP system where we can grab back order details and order status, you would also have some capabilities to be reporting. If you do use Shopify and we can connect back into Shopify, you'd be able to have access to all the orders, if the order has been placed or is still pending, and then some of the reports as well. So let's walk through kind of your typical standard order entry screens and how a buyer or a salesperson would go ahead and place an order through RepSpark. So the first thing they're going to do, or you're going to see, is your whole entire catalog here, your product catalog. This is great because unlike most sites that are B2C driven like Shopify, you're also able to display your wholesale and your retail price. Depending on what we're linked into, you're also able to show your total units available, and then any future units that you may have available as well. So within here, you have all of your sorts and filters. You can also change the view of the page. So this is kind of what your grid view is, which buyers are very used to seeing. Or you can do a list view. And within the list view, it looks kind of more like a spreadsheet. A lot of times, internal users like yourself, who's probably on the phone, as well as B2B user, or as well as sales rep users, really like this because it gives them a really nice picture of the product and the availability on one sheet. You can also export this to an ATS, to an Excel, to include images and UPCs and be able to share your ATS as well. But for the buyer view, typically we see brands using this view where then a buyer can hop into the product. They could see future inventory, current inventory. This is where you can attach the product videos, and again, the front, back, side colorways. Now, if you are using Shopify, which one of you are, these product images, style names, current ATS, as well as details and description, those will all come in automatically when you sync the products over from Shopify to start populating your wholesale site. So let's go ahead and start an order. Oh, one other thing, there's some really cool sorts. So buyers can be sorted by their top products, products that they purchased before, your top ordered products so they can see what's trendy now, as well as anything that's been recommended. So from here, we'll go ahead and we'll start an order. So if a buyer logs in, they already have a customer, they're already logged to their customer code, and they'll be able to just pick a start date for their order, pick a PO number, add any comments that they need to, or a drop ship. For a salesperson or an internal user using the product, they would then select their customer and start, maybe select their ship via, etc., to fill in the order header. And this is really important with wholesale because different customers may be paying on different terms. You may allow credit card or not. We do integrate with both Stripe for Accelerate, and then for Enterprise, Stripe, Adyen, or Authorize.net. And from there, you simply can start adding product. Now, if I wanted to, so as you can see, as I've added product, the cart will be populating over here. Now, if I wanted to use my capability to add insignia or embroidery, there is a limited version of this in Accelerate, so you still can allow buyers to add simple, do they want to add a logo or not, is there a certain placement, etc. Or for those who would be integrated with kind of a higher level platform, you would be able to also allow them to have insignia. So as you can see over on the left-hand side, I did choose a product category, and we went ahead and added a couple more products. You could also do a very similar B2C type shopping experience where the buyer hops in and they go ahead and they put their quantity directly into the pop-up and they add it to the cart. Now, as you all know, it's a little bit different buying for wholesale because you're not just buying one small or one medium like you do in direct to consumer. They're typically buying an entire size scale or, quantity of 10 units with different size runs. So once I've added my product, I could go over to the cart and go ahead and enter my order. So here I could use a size scale. So perhaps that buyer always orders in a 1, 2, 3, 2, 1 size scale. I can put 20 units and I can distribute that out. This can also be copied and pasted to the different product categories or to different lines. So it's really easy for a buyer to fill in the quantities here, or a sales rep or yourself as you're placing an order through the platform. If you did want to go ahead and allow insignia, so that's what we call adding the emblem or the logo, they would be able to do that directly on the fly as well. So instead of chasing down that order later, they could actually add an emblem, select a placement, select a color option, finish type if you're going to allow that or not, any sort of notes, and then go ahead and click next. If you wanted to allow them to upload a logo, they could do that as well, or they could click emblem and close. This is a great way to facilitate orders, especially within this golf vertical, where they may need to be adding different emblems to those different products. I'm sure if you've experienced that before, it is quite an interesting process and takes a lot of manual effort back and forth. So here you can at least capture either the actual logo if you're on professional or enterprise, or at least the notes and where that logo should be placed, etc., if you're on the Accelerate product. From here, I can delete out a product if I wanted to do so, etc. You can allow discounting or not, and you would set that all up in the admin panel. So from here, I would go ahead, proceed to review, and completely complete out my order. Now, this could be sales reps placing the order through here, being able to share that now with B2B buyers, or this could be your buyers logging in on their own after you've given them access to your site for them to go ahead and place those orders. So again, from this review page, it's really nice because whoever's managing the order process, whether it's you or a salesperson, can always email out that order to the different buyers, export it to Excel, export it to a PDF, etc. Now, if it's a buyer logging in and placing that order on their own, they can go ahead and click checkout. If you've integrated with Stripe, they can actually use a credit card, or if they're just going to use the terms that they're set up with or that you want them to use, they can go ahead and process that order. They then get an email notification that they've submitted that order and it's valid, and they get the order confirmation emailed automatically, which makes that very seamless for you. They also have the opportunity to download those images. So if they're doing something, some promotion with you or something like that, they could have the images for all the products that they've added to that order. So again, to start, we just wanted to go through a really simple viewing of how you go ahead, or how a buyer would place an order here in RepSpark. But the really fun things to talk about at the show is actually building out that product catalog. So there's a couple ways that you can do that, and I did want to focus on this because this is something that you can use if you're going to be at the show in person, where you can build out these digital catalogs. These can be shared in advance with people who are making appointments with you. They can also be embedded into your virtual experience, your virtual booth, or they can be interacted with at the actual trade show. So if you're going to be there at the event, or again, whether you're at the event or you're visiting these different buyers, you're visiting these different pro shops, that you can actually share these digital catalogs with them. So I'm going to go ahead and open up a digital catalog here. And you would be able, again, to build this. I'm going to show you how easy that is to do in a minute. Somebody can go ahead, you can build out these digital catalogs. All of the products then are clickable to get more information. So as you sync that data over, either from an ERP system or from Shopify, your buyers can actually be flipping through that digital catalog and looking at all the information that you used to have to try to fit into a catalog, you know, sizes, how many are available, when it would be available, etc. They can do that now in this digital catalog. They could be adding to a cart. So they could go ahead, the buyer there right in your trade show booth can be adding this to a cart, or if they come in through the virtual experience or virtual exhibitor space, they can be adding products to a cart, or they could simply be interacting with the products like they used to do back in the day when you used to print out thousands of dollars worth of line sheets or catalogs. They used to mark them all up, take them with them, and then you would be chasing, finding them. What did you like? Let's place this order, etc. So they can do this all digitally now, whether, again, you're in front of them in person at their pro shop, at their retail establishment, you're sitting in front of them at a trade show and walking through your product line at a booth, or they can do this through the virtual experience by accessing your digital catalog just like I'm doing now. So again, they can be creating that list. So this is going to be my Megan list. And then they'll go ahead and they can be starring the product. They can be adding their notes to the product. Love the look of this one. Or they can be starring the products as they flip through the pages. Once you also build out your custom catalog, there's a ton of different things that you can do with this. So You could share this. So if you know a certain buyer is going to be there at the show, you can share this in advance. Here's our catalog, or you could do this as a follow-up. Thanks so much for visiting our booth. You know, I hope you had a great time. Our virtual booth, thank you so much for visiting. Here's what we talked about. Here's your digital catalog. Here's a link to your favorites. So we'll just call this follow-up. Maybe this is going to John. Here you're going to have all your text. This is going to be from me with my account, etc. And now I'm able to share this. So it's a very nice way to follow up with somebody that you meet up with by sharing that digital catalog with them. And if they do have access, so they could either download that as a PDF, or they could click right in to view and start interacting with that catalog if they have a username and password, again, that you have approved, or they could click right in to view the products in the catalog. So it's a really great way to create these assets and share them. I was working with a current account that was trying to open up into a new vertical. They were actually a non-golf account that was trying to move into golf during COVID. And I was speaking to one of the sales reps, and they said they opened 30 new golf accounts simply by creating these digital catalogs, these assortments, emailing them out with a custom message, and letting those accounts come in, shop the catalog, and use it as a follow-up. So it is really easy to make these. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Really easy to share them. If you needed to bring some to the show or to an account and they wanted something printed out, you can always export this to a PDF. And then any of the digital catalogs, you could decide if you want to make it public where anybody can see it. Maybe it's private only for you. Maybe you want to generate a global link, which is a really cool way to share that to a lot of different brands or a lot of different buyers. So you just generate that global link, and then you can share that URL with different buyers for them to come in. The cool thing about this is if it's public but they don't have a login, so you've actually not given them access, you could hide certain things. Like maybe you want to hide pricing, or maybe you want to hide availability, or maybe you want to hide what they're able to see. So you can get pretty creative with the different assets that you're making and how you're sharing them. There's a full screen view. This is the embed link. So again, if you are doing the virtual PGA Connects, you can embed these digital catalogs or these digital assets directly within your trade show booth. You can copy it, etc. All of them are searchable, which is a great thing. Obviously, in an old school catalog, you're not able to just search the pages that may have the dots in, etc. So now you're able to do that. So before we run out of time here, I do want to click in and show you real quickly how easy it is to make one of these catalogs. So I'm going to go to my home page. I'm going to go into the catalog area here, and I'm going to go into my assortments. So these are some catalogs, or these are some assortments that I've made. Now within these assortments, how you make them is you go to the products area and you select the products that you want to go in the assortment. So it's kind of like shopping for yourself or shopping for an assortment. And then from there, you can hop right into the assortment. You see the different products that you have here. Now again, if you didn't even want to go through making a digital catalog, you could use this as a quick line sheet that could be shared. This could also be embedded, so you could decide what you want to display here. So this could also be embedded into the digital showroom booth. And you can also decide what you want to show and hide. So if you didn't want to go so far as to make an actual digital catalog, you can just go ahead and make these assortments, share them, and decide what you want to show and hide, what you want the pricing tier to be, etc. But to make one of these catalogs, you simply, again, you upload your products, or you sync them from Shopify. You can create an assortment. Now that could be all your products, or it could be a subset of products. Maybe you want to make a men's and a women's catalog or something like that. You click in to create a new catalog. You decide what font you want. If you want text, you decide if you want page numbers and logos, page orientation. You decide if you want a cover page or not. And usually once you walk through this once, the next time is pretty easy. Then you decide what you want the product layout to be. So maybe I want it to look like this. I want a lot of information about my products, or maybe I want to try to fit more products on a single page. Then you decide what you want to display or not. Again, this could be changed by permissions later, but maybe I don't want inventory in there. I don't really want my codes. I don't really care about all of that sort of information. Then you can do an auto populate and you can decide how you want to sort the products. Maybe I want to sort these by product name. I clicked my save search, so the next time it's even easier. And then I really move into creating my catalog. This is also a great way to use the same catalog for different areas that you may be selling to. So you can make your same catalog, copy it, and then put your different currencies there. But here I'm in the catalog maker. So a couple cool things I want to show. If I got here and I realized there's just way too much information, I can always take off the long description or things like that. I can always change this, but as you see, it created a real quick line sheet for me. And then I can just upload an image, a product or a catalog image here. Now, if you really want to get ready for the show and you don't even want to go so far as to upload products or have people shopping, but you at least want to have a digital catalog that someone could use, you could always just upload a catalog you've created outside of RepSpark by adding a new page, a feature page, and then uploading all the different pages of your catalog that may be built in Adobe or something like that. And you can just upload those different pages and create a really easy digital catalog. So I could do it that way. Or again, what we really recommend is uploading all your product images and uploading your product names at least. And that way, if you were to just, again, upload all your digital catalog that you already have created, you can go into this area, you can upload each page into the digital catalog creator, and then you could tag your product. So if I know that this is a hat, I could go in, I could tag my product. This is that hat. I could search for it, and then I could just tag my product. So it's a really great way to build out a usable, shoppable digital catalog as quickly as possible if you've already taken the time. So once I'm done with this, again, if I did my auto populate, which is this would be syncing over your product information from Shopify or an Excel file, uploading your images, and then clicking right into this digital catalog creator. You could look as modern as you want. This could be up to date. You could change prices. You could share this. You could do the exact same things that some of the other brands are doing here. So I'm going to go ahead and move into my marketing. Let's make sure that we have a cover on that one. I could go ahead and save that. And from there, I can do the exact same thing as somebody who has spent, hours and hours and days and days and days on the catalog. I could click right into my new catalog or line sheet and have the same opportunity to share that, to embed it into my booth, to download it as a PDF, etc. And I have a shoppable catalog. Again, maybe I'm actually going to be adding to a cart. So someone can be adding to a cart from the catalog that was shared, or maybe I'm going to be interacting with it in a pre-book fashion and just creating a favorites list. So again, real high overview of RepSpark. You have your products, you have your catalogs and assortments, and what I wanted to end with is here's your order area. So you would have all the orders that you've placed through RepSpark. You would have anything that's in draft, which is a draft order that you can go back and visit. Then you would have all your submitted orders, and those would be orders that actually were submitted, either exported out of the site or submitted back into Shopify or whatever your ERP system might be. And again, then you have your order status invoices, and this is where you can start to get a really great, sorry, I'm going to pick a salesperson and a customer here, but you can start to really start seeing what your wholesale customers are buying with a great customer dashboard. You can see any open orders that they have, their order history, etc. So it's a really great way also to allow those buyers to self-service, see if their order shipped or not, as well as being able to see what they've bought as you go in to sell to them this year. Oh my gosh, that was a lot to go through in half an hour here. So I'm going to pause and see if there are any questions. If there are, go ahead and type them into the question area. I'm more than happy to answer anything. I do have that opened. And again, thank you for coming. If you have seen enough, we're really excited to work with you and see how the best way to move forward, whether that be on Accelerate or working through a bigger platform and integrating with some ERP system. So I'm going to hold on a couple more minutes to see if there are any additional questions here from all of the people that are on the site. Thank you so much. Yes, any brand that is either, again, on Accelerate or Enterprise would be available to be shown to all of the different buyers within the community, the retail buyers. And it's a really great way to gather leads and also promote your brand, especially if you're starting out. So if somebody is looking for a new golf brand, a buyer, now they'd be able to, see your logo along with all of these other golf logos. If they aren't a customer yet, yes, you can give them access. They can get access as a guest, and you can also start an order even with a new customer before you put them in. What we see is a lot of brands will create like a new customer, and that way they can go ahead and place those orders directly at the show. And what they usually do is put in the PO number who that customer is. So it's a great way to get kind of pre-book orders at the show, even for new accounts that you haven't sold to yet. And it looks like that might be it today. So thank you so much for joining. Again, please feel free to follow up, and we're excited to hear more about your needs and whether you're going to be attending PGA Connects or just checking everything out, and how we can help to build your wholesale business and get you in front of these green grass and retail buyers.